I'd like to take a hard look at that. It's something I know about, and I'm against using outside counsels unless their specialty is such that we really need them. Like even labor counsel. When I was the housing authority lawyer, we did our own in-house negotiating, and I know that you just finalized the contract this week, but I think you know the people, you know the jobs, and I don't think we need high-powered labor counsel for that. But it's
no, for all our negotiations, it's all been in-house.
Right. So I don't know why we have labor counsel. But so let's take a hard look at that. I want to take a hard look at these lawyers and that budget. And if we need more staff attorneys, or one or two, we'll do it. But when I was the corporation counsel, I'm in private practice. And I love going into court and being a lawyer. And and that's what it's all about. We can talk all day, but until I say no, you're not getting your way, call your first witness until you're actually, that's being a lawyer. And I understand that this job may be a lot more difficult and you have to be in the office and take those calls. But I also want a wartime consigliere and get up and do the case. And I know that you have quite a reputation for doing that. So I don't know why we have all these outside counsels. We're not Yonkers. And
just
you know what I do about it. I told you in private, I told you in public, I told you in private. And just the thing with Judge Maher's lawsuit, I think that cost us about almost $10,000. And I can't for the life of me wonder why. I mean, there was a brief and there was an oral argument for 2 hours in court. And I don't get the $10,000 except that, I was present at a Christmas party when the lawyers were bragging about it. We got a $5,000 retainer, and we burned through that and see how much more we can get. And that's what they did. And I'm not, criticizing lawyers because I'm a lawyer. Everybody likes to make money, but this city can't afford it, and certainly not while I'm sitting here. I'm not going to approve it. I'm not going to, So I'd like to know how many we have working right now, how those monthly bills come in, and let's see if we can get rid of some of these cases that have been kicking around, especially some of the ones that have been kicking around for 6 years, like I'm talking about the whatever. Mm-hmm. And these things, we have to get rid of them one way or the other. Let's get, we're not going to fight perpetually for it forever. It doesn't look good on Route 9 when you drive by it. It doesn't look good for the neighborhoods, and it doesn't look good on our balance sheets. We're the equal opportunity for law firms here, and it's got to end at some point.
The problem you raised, Mayor and Council, is a problem, an age-old problem that many governments face, and in each government I've worked in, I've been charged with reducing outside counsel costs. I'm delighted to bring those down as far as we can, and you recognize there are certain instances where it would be provident to retain outside counsel for one reason or another, which we can certainly go into, and I'd be delighted to go into every case because I do have the analysis of the case. I had it for my budget presentation last December.
So it's driven the $450,000, $494,000. It's driven by caseload, you're saying, more than the ability to actually fight these cases. I know there's specialty cases that require outside counsel, but there must be a lot of cases that require even you can't do it all.
That's correct. That's partially correct, Councilman. And as I said, for example, I also have in the chart I prepared, portion of this I think we should keep to ourselves would be the hourly rate charged by all the attorneys. And I think what you will see is that the hourly rates we have been recently provided by the law firms are rather reasonable as compared to other firms where, I would once you see what I prepared, I think you will understand where I'm going. I think it'll be revealing to you, and then we can certainly, I'd be glad to go into as much detail as you care to.
Yeah, the hourly rates, the hourly rates look good on paper, but when it takes you an hour to do something, we get a bill for 10 hours, or 2 hours two lawyers working on it for 6 hours each. That's where the
Well, that's my charge to review those bills, Mr. Mayor, and either reject them or approve them, which is what we, obviously, as you know, from your experience, is what we're charged to do.
I know.
And isn't some of this also the insurance companies, where they're covering some of these lawsuits?
Well, that's not,
Because we're being sued?
right, that wouldn't be reflected in what we pay out. These are suits that are not covered.
We do have some outside counsel, right, that's being driven by us being sued, and then our insurance companies are paying.
Yes,
We're
but
covering the
Under the policy, like
Yes,
if somebody trips in the
The
policy,
expense line in the budget
Right.
is strictly outside counsel
Correct.
expenditures.
these are not those cases.
correct.
And I don't know why sometimes we dig ourselves into these holes. You know, we take a position, no, and if you don't like it, sue us. And, you know, I don't know why we do that. You know, this Deskovic thing, you know, I don't think the guy ever got an apology from the city of Peekskill, and he should have got one. He got an apology from a Supreme Court judge who heard his case and apologized not only for what he went through, but for the numerous judges who denied him writ of habeas corpus over 16 years. So it's not a crime to say you're sorry. And you know, speaking of that, I'd like to reach out to Mr. Deskovic and invite him in and formally apologize to him for what happened. Everybody makes mistakes. We don't have to, and I'm not comparing his case to some of these lawsuits, but you know, we talked about
Aren't
it
you,
in
though?
private, when you have somebody in court who's not a lawyer, like a building inspector, saying, if you don't like it, sue us. If you don't like it, you know, go to trial. And that's not what we're about. And that's why we talked about prosecutorial discretion.
Yes, sir.
And not having these people and not having the other staff in court unless the prosecutor wants them in court. So I hope that's happening, by the way.
It's evolving. We're getting it.
And if we're more reasonable with our people, they'll be more reasonable with us. And they won't be so quick to sue the city. We could sit down and talk about some of these things instead of everybody
Talk
jumping
about
the
it.
gun and having Harris speech on our speed dial. Anyway, that's what I feel about it. We've talked about this in private many times.
Yes.
All right. Anybody have? Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. By the way, Ed, I think you're doing it. Many times I come by this office, and I don't know if it's you or Gail, but the light is always on. And,
Well, sometimes, Mayor, the law department gets a bad rap, but, you know, you're right. We are here early, we are here late, and we're here to serve.
that's